So, tonight's topic is femicide. Hey, how you doing? How's your night going?
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know what? I am so impressed with your videos. Um, I am so I'm so glad that you're on adding your information, your gems, and your take on what's going on in the world. But I created the live tonight because I want to talk about femicide
About
and
what?
femicide.
Okay.
And so I'm just waiting for other people to come up and you know talk about the topic. Because there's just like so many women in relationships that are being unalived, and it's an important topic. And I thought maybe my brother with so many brothers on my network, this is something that they need to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
So if people have information pertaining to the conversation, can speak on the topic.
Well, that's good. Wow, that's quite a topic. I've enjoyed your work too. It's very inspiring.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
But what made you? Why did you pick this subject of? How do you say it again?
Femicide.
Femicide.
So, I've done poetry around domestic violence, and I've been on conversations where women have accused men of not caring and not doing enough. And the way that they came about it, just like I know I've been through a lot of trauma myself. I've seen people get unalived, myself, and I've lost some people. And someone else brought it up again the other day, but the way she came at me was like really like a bull in a china shop. And I was like, if you want to have a conversation, I'm willing to do that, but I'm not gonna allow you to abuse me because you're in pain. I just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to work to have a constructive conversation around femicide because it's something that a lot of men need to hear about. Need to understand. And just like overall healing in our communities, because like if you come at me with aggression, me personally, I'm gonna back up because I've been traumatized, all throughout growing up, and so there's only certain things that I can take, and so I felt like I should discuss it, in a way that I can discuss it or give people the floor, that can put out information, and allow us to come together and address it, and in the way it needs to, I guess, if I could say it that way.
I see. One of the things that I've heard so often that really bothers me. And I now take things that really bother me a lot, and I look at them closely to not only be bothered, but try to figure out why does that bother me so much. And
Right.
the thing that it was hurt people hurt. I just wanted people. Number one, we've all been hurt, and it felt like to me that if you hadn't, if you that it gave you an excuse to hurt, and so I was very uncomfortable about that, and I feel even though it feels differently, most people don't return the hurt, and that's not their goal to return the hurt.
Hmm.
I mean, we wouldn't, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't true.
Right.
But for those who do return the hurt, they have to know that they have another choice.
Hmm.
You know, and that choice, um, that choice will be your destiny, not what happened to you, but
Right.
your choice. And so if you want to keep that darkness going, then yeah, you choose revenge. You do it to somebody else. But if you choose the light and do not only not do it to somebody else, but figure out how can I not do this to somebody else? I know I had something so ridiculous happen to me in my perspective that I just had to ask, how can I solve this problem in love? I had to put that structure in there because it wasn't in my vocabulary at that time.
Right.
And the thing is, we live in a place, we're at a vibration of revenge. We have leaders acting like that's okay. People talking about their own self-interest. So we're in that energy. And so we always hear, you're always encouraged to think about if it happened to you, as if
Right.
that would be the reason for you not to do it.
Right.
That's just one reason, but it's not the best reason. The
Right.
best reason is to learn how to not do it to somebody else.
To stop the cycle, right?
Stop the cycle, stop the curse, not pass it on.
Right. And the person that was coming at me like that, I was like, I'm here to have a constructive conversation.
Mhm.
If you want to do that, that's fine. But it was like interesting how the person went on to like um say that I said things that I didn't even say,
Mhm.
and I realized like how hurt the person was, and
Mhm.
I felt powerless to do anything. And so I guess like the most constructive thing I can do is this, use my platform to have conversations about it.
Mhm.
Um, you know, to encourage people to do what they can in their circles to address it. Um, but so the issue, um, so I'm looking at femicide. What is femicide? Um, there's a lot of work going on. Um, about femicide globally. And at justice.za, um, I asked Google what is femicide, and so and this website says is the killing of a female or perceived female on the basis of gender identity, whether committed within a domestic relationship and a personal relationship or by another person, or whether perpetrated or tolerated by the state or its agents and private sources. Now, I know, thanks, Sapphire. I know years ago, I can't remember where it was. I want to say Massachusetts, but maybe it wasn't. Um, there was a law named after a woman. I can't remember her name, but I remember seeing the movie where the husband was just beating on his wife, and the police was just watching.
Mm.
Like they didn't intervene because it was legal for men to beat their wives.
Oh.
And so she she sued everybody
Mm-hmm.
and she won.
Mm-hmm.
And that started causing laws to be put in place to protect women. You know, I remember watching that when I was a teenager, and that was my first real understanding of domestic violence.
Mm.
Have you in your lifetime um have experience with domestic violence, or you know people that have
Well,
um how they got through it?
yeah. I actually I know a woman who has a domestic violence program, a nonprofit. In fact, I need to catch up with her. And I did parent education. I worked with the YWCA with sexual offenders, and so I've done the work. I personally um, haven't gone through the trauma specifically, but
Right.
um, I'm empathic, and I had to release the work because I wasn't able to separate myself from. I wasn't able to emotionally separate myself from the victims. And so then I became an administrator so that I could help people who could help them without breaking down.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. So, but yeah, so yeah,
Would you be willing to allow me to interview you on my radio show?
oh, you have a radio show?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your radio show about?
So my
uh
it's on an app. It's called Poetic Recovery Radio.
huh,
We also have a social media.
uh huh,
So I created Poetic Recovery. The initial reason why I created Poetic Recovery was two things. Because I was an abused foster child and people wouldn't listen when I told them about my abuse. So I
mm-hmm,
wanted to create a place to be heard.
mm-hmm,
And the way that got happened was at open mics. But because I'm in recovery, I also created alcohol, drug-free open mic. And because rap music at the time was becoming more violent, more abusive towards women, etc., I wanted a place where people can be original. And so
mm-hmm.
I created Poetic Recovery. So now, you know, the state nonprofit in Massachusetts, which I'm working on making it a federal nonprofit. I should say we, because we do have a board.
Mm-hmm.
There's there's the Poetic Recovery Radio, which I'm going to be creating for a business where hopefully we can build up and it can help fund the nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the social media site, poeticrecovery.us.
Okay. Okay. That's very
And so
interesting.
it would, I would, if you can, I mean, if it's something that you want to do, I would love for you to connect with our network and add some, I can create a forum with a title that you think makes sense. And if you would join the social media site, just post information in there so people who are willing to support our sisters, our mothers, and our aunts that are going through these issues or who are impacted, the brothers and the sisters, aunts and uncles who are impacted by femicide, so they can be empowered to do more work in their communities. Um, that would be amazing.
Wow, that would be really cool. You know, I'm trying to formulate as you talk in my mind. You know, I know there's a connection where the connection is. Um, because when I came back, I was I'm in Los Angeles County now, and previously, you know, I had worked with these programs, domestic violence with the YWCA, Shields for Families, that they were with people who were had mental challenges and drug, and I also had worked in the prison system and at the youth detention. So you know, these are my people, not because I was in the same situation, but spiritually I connect with sensitive people. I guess I don't know what it is, but I just connect with them. But I found that like one of the programs I worked with was Black Infant Health Program. Okay, with women, and I found out that the statistics were worse now in terms of the high infant mortality than when I worked in the program.
Yeah.
Now, I always had a sense that it was set up for collecting information as opposed to helping the women. Right. But I felt that we could still help the women anyhow. But when I saw that it was worse, I was devastated. I just felt like I just wasted the last 20 years of my life. You know, and so that's when I started the parent ed, because that's what I did before, because I'm saying we missed something. We missed something because even the issues that we have in the States with the Congress and it's like I started to say they're acting like high schoolers, but that would be an insult to high schoolers unless I specified they're acting like bad behaving and high schoolers. And these issues that we are taught as children that just weren't even used. Things that you were taught in kindergarten. I mean, we have the precedent. I don't know what country you're in. You're in the States now, right?
Yes,
we have a president that actually has gone out of his way to not feed people. What is that spirit? What is that spirit that would do that?
It's, oh man. You know, there's this book by Lillian Smith called Killers of the Dream. And she explains it so well. I mean, I understood racism before I read this book, but I really understood it a lot deeper after I read that book. And, you know, for years, I've been working on, you know, building this network, you know, where poor people who've been thrown away, if they're important in the network, well, then the work that we do would be solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in doing this work, understanding like the different games that are going on through the different political parties, right? So what I think he's doing, what I think he's doing is similar to what happened back when Bacon's rebellion, right? When this guy Bacon hired indigenous people, enslaved Africans, and um, the Irish to fight against the government because he didn't like the agreements that the government at that time made with the indigenous people. And after that, after that whole thing was done, the government made a law, and that law stated that, well, if the Irish people were caught running away with the enslaved African, and the enslaved African gets away, then he must he must serve out that time for the enslaved African, which created a wedge between the Irish and the enslaved African.
Mm-hmm.
What Trump is attempting to do is create wedges between white people and black people, white
Mm-hmm.
people and non-white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And starvation is one of the most traumatic experiences that you can experience as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he can impose starvation amongst the nation, he can impose the wedges between white and non-white people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's attempting to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now the problem is that as black people, we've invested all our power into corporate interests.
Mm-hmm.
So we really have no economic power. We have no political base to really come from at this time, other than if we actually create one, which is what we need to do because we're supporting the Democratic Party now, and look what's happening. You know, so if this is happening while we're supporting the Democratic Party, and we really have no say over the party, I think things is much worse now versus if we had our own resources and had say over those resources and can actually defend ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And feed ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
and feed our allies.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I believe that Trump and MAGAville is attempting to do. But as we see, he's losing support.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do they call the purple? Whatever they're calling it, the purple something. My thing is that if someone wakes up and realizes, oh man, I made a bad mistake. I don't care how you come to the realization. The point is that you came to the realization, and we need to capitalize on that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for the benefit of everyone. You know, so I think that I believe that's what it is. You know, white supremacy. You know, but my thing is that what are we gonna do?
Well, the thing is you. I think it's really important for people to know not only who they are, but whose they are. Now, a lot of talk is given about Adam in that apple and the choice that he made. Now, this is what mythology, whatever, but this is one of the foundations that we have. Okay, my take on this is that Adam was given the choice of whether or not he wanted free will.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call power, whether he wanted free will. Now, everything was lovely, everything was cool. God made it one day good, second day good, everything's good. Something And I'm not even going to get into where the blame goes to because that's another subject. Somehow he made that decision to have free will, to have choice. So now humans can choose good over evil in all of its shades. Okay, we have that choice. Now, ever since that choice was made, whether you want to call it the devil, the flesh, the world, I'm just going to say other has been fighting for that free will. It might be through the Democratic Party, it might be through the Republican, it might be through what doctor you choose, but everybody is fighting for your free will. And just like Adam made his decision, we have to make the decision who we going to belong to. Mm-hmm. Who do you belong to? Because you didn't make yourself.
Right.
So who you going to belong to? And until you make that choice, we're going to have this nonsense that we have going on in the world. Because people don't want to, we halfway make the choice and then we take it back and then we say, well, I don't think you meant that, God. Let me get this for you. And, back and forth. But until, and it's not something, some people think it's done once in a lifetime. It's a daily thing that you have to give up and align yourself with the Creator, or else we'll keep on doing. Because one of the things I feel, at least in the Western society, they have not aligned. They say in God we trust. Under God, they talk about God, whatever. But they want to be God. But I think the difference between aligning yourself with the purpose of the Creator is very different than thinking that you are God. Yes, as long as we're breathing and alive, that spirit is in us. But, we ain't controlling nothing.
Let me ask you this, right? Because throughout my lifetime, right, I've talked to different people from different, religious backgrounds, etc., right? And I kind of feel like everyone, many people from many different religious background, right? Their God is the one to go to, And then I've talked to people who are not religious, and some people who are religious, and they're like they love you regardless of who you are, regardless of whether you believe or don't believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Want you to believe, but like, hey, they realize that you don't need to believe for them to love who you are as a person, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My thing is why would it matter?
Yep.
Whether or not someone believes, for us to look at each other as human beings and decide to, hey, we need to share this world. So let's work together in a way that's best for both of our interests,
Mm-hmm.
and get things done. Why can't we do that and put the religion stuff and allow the religion stuff to be an individual thing and private thing? Because much of the deaths in the world has happened because of religion.
Mm-hmm.
So why we can't do that?
I think that's a very, very good idea. And it does happen. I know one time when I was in Ghana, and I'm leaving the country for Ghana at the end of the year. And there is this Muslim, uh, mosque right catty corner across from a Christian place. They're very proud of the fact that the people come in there and go and nobody has any problem. So it's very doable.
Right.
I mean, number one, why would you want to force it on somebody else? If
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. Number one, as soon as you get in that mode, you check yourself. There's something wrong here. If I have to manipulate and control and harass people to do something, that's not the God that I want to serve. There's
Right.
something off. You know?
No, absolutely. Cause for me, like I know that there's a higher creator. There's a creator, right? But like with the research that I've done, with the things I've witnessed, yeah, like yeah. And so like when you were talking about the organization that you worked at, and when you look back 20 years later, it's increasing.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at like the way that women are portrayed in music over the last 30 years, and in movies and et cetera, entertainment, connecting that with wealth. Honestly, like it's I understand, like, when you put this idea out there that like, the woman as an object versus a being,
Mm.
you know? Um and so that's why I created that's why there's poetic recovery, because we need to address that. And the way we address that, I feel, is we have the radio station, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have my radio show. The emissary has hers on Tuesday on Wednesday nights. I have mine on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now here's the thing. I've spoken to many women about having a radio show,
Mm-hmm.
right? And addressing things from a point of view of like bringing us to the table to heal. I've
Mm-hmm.
always said that we need to use womenism, you know what I'm saying, as a way of bringing, as a foundation to bring men and women to the table together, so we can discuss our problems and move through them together.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's. I mean, it's a strategy.
I don't know what else to do. You know what I mean? Like, so, do the best I can and invite people in and be like, yo, let's try this in the face of nothing else. What else is there can we do?
There's a lot. I mean, I think people are really just coming online. People are doing a lot. There is a lot going on.
Oh, absolutely.
So I feel very inspired. People do the work like you. It's just I'm very inspired. So I say just keep going.
No, absolutely.
Do your part. Like one of the things I thought about, because it's a very challenging time, and I think that we need to put 80% of our energy into the solution and 20% into the problem. I think we have that backwards.
I agree with you.
And to really, the whole mindset, people say that we have The lives that we have now is what we've spoken into. And so since we know we have that skill, we need to speak into our future lives what we want. So we really don't need to give any energy to things we don't want.
Right.
You find if you have conversation and you say, what do you want for dinner? And you'll get 6 things about they don't want for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And you still be wondering, well, what do you want for dinner? It's something about the way we get information. And I listen to the news and I hear them say something positive, but even if it's like the sky is blue, but it will probably rain tomorrow. Everything is set up that way. And we begin to speak into the negative. I've been really watching that, and I see myself do it. Someone asks me a question, and the first thing coming out of my mouth is what I don't want. It's crazy.
Yeah, like,
There's somebody to say hi to, Marie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hello to Marie real quick in a moment, but I wanted to respond to what you're saying. And thanks for coming on, Marie. My recovery process, right? I remember the first time I was walking down the street and I had some papers and I dropped my papers, right? And I remember I consciously did not say, "What the?" You know what I mean? And as I went down silently to pick up the paper, I looked around and noticed that nobody was looking at me. Up until that point, I've always thought that when something happened that I thought was bad or embarrassing, that everyone was looking at me, right? And then it was at that moment that I realized that people were looking at me because I caused the scene in response to what happened, right? And then also I remember learning that, like, rain is not bad. That without rain, there's no water, there's no flowers, right? So if I do get in a relationship and there's no water, then how can I bring a flower so she can forgive me, right? So I've started to learn to, like, look at the good things, the good side of things, right? Like you saying, it's gonna rain tomorrow, and I'm like, whoa, that's good because, like, we haven't had any rain and we need that rain so we can drink. You know what I mean?
Always seek the good.
So I agree with you.
And the more you seek the good, it's like seeking God. The more you see, you just see these amazing things, of people, how they treat each other, and you're like, it's not going to make the news.
No.
But I see it, and it gives me so much energy.
I want to invite you to be part of Porter Recovery. I would love if you had a radio show on Porter Recovery, because I know you got a lot of gems to drop, but I just had to put it out there.
Yeah, and I think the idea with the women thing is very good. I know I've thought about it too.
Would you be willing to help out?
Oh, I'd be willing to help, but one of the things that I have found in my past is that I've over-volunteered, and I had to take the sign off my head. And I say, it's not that I don't want to do things, but I must have boundaries, and I must stick to what I'm doing, my program, and not take my energy and put it to somebody else's. I really have to do that. Yeah.
This is what I say, right? Like, I always say, like, I work around your time and what you're capable of doing. And Poetic Recovery has always been that way, right? So there's artists who, like, left for like 6 years and then showed back up. I was like, yo, what's up? You got any new poetry, or you want to get on the mic?
Well, that's so cool.
Like, they was there last week. You know what I mean? because I know that life grabs us all. You know what I mean? And I just have to accept what you can give. But what I know is that, like, if there's a place where people on the social network, because we're going on 1,000 now, right? So if there's a place where people can go and get that information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll be more informed. And so you can just post information whenever you have time. That would be on you. You know your life. I don't. You know what I'm saying? And your boundaries will be respected. So
Oh, my battery just went low. Okay. Hey, so we haven't heard from Marie, poet.
Marie, how you doing, Miss
Yeah,
Incredible?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. The topic is femicide.
Okay.
And so I created the topic. I was telling Miss oh, my eyes are bad.
Okay.
Miss K, um
Where's your
Miss
glasses?
And we
look,
don't say my eyes are bad either.
my eyes are not as what they
It's
once
good.
was.
Every day in every way, you're getting better and better.
Except for my eyesight. No,
Including, you see that? You see how people fight it? They fight it.
listen, look, hey, listen. I
He
remember
is
my eyesight when I
claiming,
was
he's claiming bad eyesight. Why
look.
would you do that?
I remember when I was 25, right? I'd be like, yes, what? Listen, I didn't know it. Listen, I didn't know I had great eyesight, but now I know I had great eyesight, right? You know, hey, listen, the eye doctor would be like, "Wow, you got eyes like a hawk." I'd be like, "I'm leaving there, be telling everybody, I got eyes like a hawk. I got eyes like a hawk." They're like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know, but the eye doctor said something good. You know what I mean? So I felt great. Now I'm like, I got eyes like I don't know, but it's not like a hawk anymore. You
I'm
know,
bad.
so
And bad in the daytime.
you know. So Marie, the reason why I created this topic is because there was two times where I came across women who were very passionate about this topic, and they like beat it over. They were trying to beat me over the head with their trauma, and I was like, nah, no. And but over the years, I bring up the topic of domestic violence a lot in my
Mm,
open mics and stuff like that,
right.
and do my best I can to address it. And the other day, I had a conversation well, I tried to have a conversation with this woman, and she was just quoting things that I didn't even say, just because I wouldn't stay there and allow her to abuse me, in the name of like educating me on femicide. And so, what I want to attempt to do is make room on a platform to have a conversation about this so that the men and the women, especially the brothers on this platform, can be informed about femicide because it impacts their wives, their mothers, their sisters, their aunts, etc., etc. So that's why I created the conversation. Is
What's
there
the
any,
meaning of that? Femicide. I've never heard that.
so femicide are now I'm going to read the definition that I just read,
Okay.
um because I put my definitions on stuff.
Right. That's why I said, what's the definition of that? Not
Oh, by the
Maurice's
way,
definition.
Miss K, the lady that had gotten beat, her name was
Mhm.
Thurman Tracy Tracy Thurman, and I think the movie is called The Thurman Story or something like that.
Okay.
Um, in '82, Tracy Thurman left her husband Charles Buck Thurman after a brief of violent marriage. Um,
But
she took her
did he
child. They
kill
lived
her?
apart.
Did
Nope, no, he didn't kill her. In November '82, Buck forcibly entered the home Tracy was staying at and removed Charles Jr. Charles Jr. was returned to his mother, but the police failed to accept a complaint of criminal trespass from the owner. 4 days later, Buck stood in front of Tracy's car on a public street and verbally threatened her. Although there was a police officer nearby, he did not intervene until Buck broke the windshield of Tracy's car with his fist. Um, on June 10th, '83, Buck arrived at the house Tracy was staying and demanded to see her. Tracy remained inside and contacted police. 15 minutes later, with no officer in sight, Tracy exited the house to speak to Buck. It was 25 minutes after Tracy's call, a single police officer arrived who sat in his car while Buck chased Tracy, grabbed her by the hair, and stabbed her 13 times. And so, thanks to her being courageous, and brave, and taking this whole thing to court, that brought about, safety and equal protection. There was supposed to be equal protection, but obviously there wasn't. And so it's all about enforcing. If laws aren't enforced, it doesn't matter if they're on the books. So this led to an enforcement of the equal protection laws. And getting back to you, Miss Marie, on what is femicide. Now, this is from the UN. It says 5 facts to know about femicide. Women and girls are most likely to be killed by those closest to them. 2, femicide is a universal problem. 3, the true scale of femicide is likely much higher. 4, some groups of women and girls face greater risks. And 5, femicide can and must be prevented. Okay? And so the definition is femicide, or femicide, as it is referred to in some contexts, is defined as an intentional killing with a gender-related motivation. It is different from homicide, where the motivation may not be gender-related. Femicide is driven by discrimination against women and girls, unequal power relations, gender stereotypes, or harmful social norms. It is the most extreme and brutal manifestation of violence against women and girls, which occurs on a continuum of multiple and related forms of violence at home, in workplaces, schools, or public spaces, including intimate partner violence, sexual harassment, and other forms of sexual violence, harmful practices, and trafficking. And this is also a reason why I encourage healing and recovery through cultural expression, because it allows us to address these issues. But the other thing about it is, in order for this to be a powerful platform, poetic recovery, we need intentional support from men and women. Right? Because we say that, we need change, but if we're not supporting the change that, people working on, then how does the change come about if there's no support for it? And so I encourage that support. If you listen to the radio station that we have, if you know artists who have music that addresses these issues in a constructive way, where people can listen and learn, right? They can submit it to the radio station. We'll put it on the radio station, right? Because trust me, man, when it comes to racism or being abused by women and men, I've come at people like, what? What? And what I've learned is that it drives people away. But if I find a way to really talk about it and educate them on it and get them involved, they're willing to listen, right? And so I want to talk about it in that way. So that's why femicide is the topic today. So,
Homicide.
do you have anything to say in the topic of femicide, Marie?
No, but I'm gonna write it down so I can look into it more.
All right. What about you, Poise? The topic is femicide.
Femicide?
Yep.
I don't think I'm familiar with it.
Me
I'm
neither.
gonna
I'm learning.
I'm gonna read the definition one more time for you, sir.
All
Can
right.
you spell it? Is it
F
like it sounds?
Yep. Femicide.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay.
Femicide or feminicide, as it is referred to in some contexts, is defined as the intention of killing with a gender-related motivation. It is different from homicide, where the motivation may not be gender-related. Femicide is driven by discrimination against women and girls, unequal power relations, gender stereotypes, or harmful social norms. It is the most extreme and brutal manifestation of violence against women and girls, which occurs on a continuum of multiple and related forms of violence at home, the workplace, or schools, or public spaces, including intimate partner violence, sexual harassment, and other forms of sexual violence, harmful practices, and trafficking.
Hey, where can I look that up?
You can just go to Google and be like, "What is femicide?"
Okay, got you. Got you. Good looking.
But make sure you get a
Source.
reputable resource.
Got you.
Hello, Miss New York. Would you like to come up to the live?
Hey, boys. Yeah.
But so hearing that definition, poise, um, and this is to you, Marie. Hearing that definition and knowing that there's so much killing out there, of women because they're women, like what does that make you think about?
Um. Wow. It makes me think about why I've been safe all these years. I was in a abusive relationship, verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trauma bonded by it because I fought every day
Mm,
to free my mind in a different way. He's not in this world anymore. You know what I'm saying? He went to a better place, but he was fighting his own demons, you know? So it wasn't a consistent thing with him doing that to me.
Mm-hmm.
But after my parents, left this world and stuff, and I really didn't have nobody else, it was kind of companionship for me, you know? But me, like I always say, I've been let go of the past, so I could live in the present because if I don't do that, there is no future for me.
Okay.
So, not like you always say, a lot of people can't do that, but I do it, and I keep smiling and I'm happy and I'm just, you know, I got a little couple issues, right?
I mean, we all do. I think.
Right. But yeah, that's a new word for me though. I've never heard of that word. So I'm gonna look more into it. But yeah, I mean, if I could talk, I try to educate the young women at work, but a lot of them are just so, I don't understand. Just don't understand. Their mind is not in the right place. Some of them just feel just have a baby, it's gonna keep a man. No, it's not, you know. So I don't know. I'm gonna look it up though.
All right, cool. And I'm gonna be having this topic more often.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna be pressing the brothers to really to think about this because we have to admit, as brothers, man, we say we love women, but we don't really, we got this feud going on with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And we really need to, work on move towards a healing together. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so, that's what this work has been about. Listening to each other, connecting with each other.
What is it called for men when it happens to men? Is there a word for it?
No, I mean, I don't want to get on that because I want to focus on femicide,
No, I
and,
know. I
and
just wanted
the,
to know,
the
is there a
reason
word though?
the reason why I
Maybe.
say that is because here's the thing, right? It's power based, right? When you look at this society, white men dominate the power, right? And it's like, if you white, you right. If you brown, stick around. If you black, stay back. So white men through this power structure have empowered other men from other ethnicities to be empowered, right? But with
Yeah,
specific rules, right? So it's like if a black person becomes a preacher in a particular church, there's rules of the religion and the religious organizations that they must adhere to in order to be in that power, right?
right,
And so, and within that power, with those positions, if they don't do anything to really address these issues, right, then it encourages other men to be callous to the women that they're in relationships with. And so, what I want to do with my little bit of position is to encourage men to understand why sisters are being abused.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? What are the things that we need to work through as men? Um, and how can and encourage the sisters that how can we, you as sisters and us as brothers, how can we work together through these issues together?
right.
You know what I'm saying? So, Poise, what do you think about the whole femicide issue as you heard the definition?
Yeah, I could talk about this forever, bro. Uh,
Well, we ain't got forever. We just got a couple minutes.
yeah, I know, but this is a part of my immediate bubble. This is a part of what I do outside of working with youth. So I've been blessed since I've came home to be embraced with about 9 sisters out of the Bay, all over the Bay Area, and they come to us for support. Me and my dude, when they need us, they got dudes that's tripping, and we'll show up as a force. Nothing violent, but just to show our presence or whatever. I'm always I got people that work in trafficking and all of that, bro. That's something that's never far from my mind. My mom was abused all of my life by men. I grew up watching family members and all of that. That's something, and not just my race. That's all women. I know deeply all cultures have horrible things that they do to women. So that's something that's constantly. It's never not on my mind, bro. So
Right.
I'll end right there.
No, I mean, no, man. That's. Yo, I'm with you, man. Cause watching my mom be abused, and then I have so many friends, man, female friends that have children, and the fathers are nowhere's around.
Mm.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Oh, let me add one more thing to it. Our youth organization that me and one of my main dudes been running for like 7 years. We teach a lot of principles and a lot of things outside of organizations that are already out. We wanted to do things that they don't really think about. One thing that we came up was teaching young men how to hold space in front of women. Most young boys or men don't understand when you raise your voice around a woman, usually you're scaring her. 9 times out of 10, they won't show that. They might raise their voice to match your energy, but usually they're kind of scared. They're just doing that to portray this force, to give you this force to show that they're not scared. Holding space, like when you're on a bus, and you sitting in a chair and you got your legs all open and you taking up all the fucking space. When you walking down aisles, and you damn near about to brush, you making the women walk, they got to move out of your way. Shit that men don't normally think about. That's not normal shit. You supposed to move out of the way. Things like that. But yeah, bro, that's a good salute to you on that one right there. I'm with you full force on that one, bro.
You know, if we was on my radio show, bro, I would have charged you $80 by now.
For sure.
All the times you cuss, but we on TikTok, so I ain't gonna message you about it. But I know I figured I'd bring that up, make Marie laugh a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
no, I hear you, bro, man, and respect for that, man. I was talking to the sister before you came in earlier, man. I'm gonna create a forum on femicide, so we can create topics and address that on the cultural exchange.
Well, last thing. I have about 5 women on this app right now that I work with in the community. They know me personally. Some of them have lost their family members to violence. So, like on this app right now as we're speaking, they've been in my house. I've been in their house. I know their kids. My wife know their kids. So on and so forth. That part.
Excuse me. Oh, yo, that's dope, bro. That's dope. There's two sisters that I helped to one I helped get out of a DV relationship, and one I helped get furniture because like things is crazy for her. I was trying to get a video done so I could raise funds, but a lot of people don't know what really goes into going to making videos and stuff like that. But you know, it was what it was. But she knew that somebody was there. Um, but I want to read this. The femicide canon must be prevented. Gender-related killings and other forms of violence against women and girls are not inevitable. Often femicide or feminicide is a consummation of repeated and escalating episodes of gender-based violence, which means a canon must be prevented. If the early signs of violence are addressed effectively, initiatives that focus on primary prevention, changing social norms, and engaging whole communities to create zero tolerance for violence against women work best in preventing gender-related killings. The police and justice sectors have an important role to play by believing and supporting survivors of gender-based violence, responding to reports of violence and punishing perpetrators to end impunity. And to too many cases, victims of femicide had previously reported violence and their killings could have been prevented. With that, man, we need to set up community responses, right? We need to build towards that, right? Where brothers in our communities will respond to the issues of domestic violence, because I'm past this whole we need to rely on the police when the police are corrupt as hell. You know what I'm saying? And then what? Like the police show up, they arrest the dude, and then another cop goes in and rapes the woman. Like that happens way too often. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
In cases where police are raping women. We need to address our shit, and we need to push forward. Um. So for me, like in changing the social norms, right? Is I've written poems about domestic violence. I was trying to, it's not on this computer, but I was trying to remember the name of the poem, this poem that I wrote. And I was hoping it was on the computer, but it's not. Um Give me 1 second.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not on this computer, but I would like to read it for you guys one time. Um when I get it, when I find it. Um let me look up let me look up here. Give me 1 second. So, what are some things that you guys think that we can do to address, poetic recovery can do to address with our limited resources, to address femicide?
Mm.
Any ideas? None?
Just you said you made a group. Are you gonna make a
Well, but I'm asking you, like, what are some things that we can do?
I mean, advertise it, publicize it, just put it out
Okay.
there, talk about it on the radio show. I mean, just get the word out there as much as we can.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Poise? What do you think we can do?
Yeah, yes, it's a lot of things, man. We could, man, it's a lot of things. We can, like she said, we can take advantage of the radio show. We could take advantage of TikTok. We can hold a space. We can hold a monthly space, a weekly space, or a 2 week space, or whatever, and let people come up. You know, let men up here come up that feel that it's okay to be aggressive toward women. And really get into it. But we also gotta have some pamphlets for them and show them why it's wrong, and what, and then that goes into the male role belief system, and it also goes into the subject of what a man is. So everybody in their own head, that's why I hate when people speak in definites, because what a man is to you is not what a man is to me. So once
Right.
we get into what their belief of what a man is, then we could kind of bring them into, some type of agreement that whatever their belief is not fucking over a woman. Excuse my language, but I had to say it like that. You know, it,
Well,
it whatever your belief is,
mhm.
being a man, it is not messing over a woman, and then we got to let them know what it is, because it's like it's so many ways that you can harm a woman without, a lot of guys, we're raised to be aggressive, the caveman syndrome. You see a
Mm,
woman, you go get her. If she say no, you keep hollering until she say yeah. She got to play hard to get. That's the game. We taught that, bro. So we got to understand space. We got to understand when a woman is not feeling you, how to back up, and it boils down to teaching a man how to be gentle without telling him to be gentle. Because when a
Right.
man hears that, they think it's being soft. You feel me?
right.
But holding a space is important, man. We can talk, we can write pamphlets, we can do songs, but if we hold a space, bro, like take advantage of your radio show, and like you told me, you growing and growing. So we need a space for that, bro. Everybody needs a space for that. You feel me? And I love what you said about not deviating. I love how my sister, she was like, well, what about the men? Is it a word for there? And you was like, no, I want to keep it on this. I don't want to take from y'all. This is about y'all. So long as the men know when they come in, if y'all not healed, we can't help the women. So
Right.
we
Right.
gotta heal them first. We gotta get into their head and see, what do they think a man is. A lot of people think a man is, if your woman is talking too loud, tell her she need to tone it down a little bit. I run the house, or whatever it is. We gotta figure them out first. We can't judge them. And once they open up and we start talking and getting into them, okay, well, this is how, I'm gonna end right here, bro. I just been having a conversation with one of my younger cousins recently, and I found out that he put his hands on women. So I'm still fresh on this.
Mm,
So man, I talked to him for like 2 hours on we was on some app, bro, and I told him everything that I could think about women that they don't tell us, and the majority of my
mm,
family is women. I said, cousin, do you know that our cousins will never tell us if a dude puts their hands on them, because they know what we'll do to them. And a lot of women, you be wondering, as soon as I hear a woman getting abused, my first thought, even though I work in this line, yet still, I still say, where are their brothers? Where are their uncles? Where is their dad? That's the first thing I think. And then I remember my mom, she never told her brother, because her brother was
mhm.
a monster. She knew what he would do. And women will do that. They will do that to protect us, bro.
Hmm.
So we need to talk about that. We gotta let them know. And then you gotta also, we have this belief, if somebody do something to my sister, I'm gonna go smash them. Okay, you go smash them, now you in jail. Now you really can't protect them. You feel me? So that platform needs to be open, but we, like you said, we got to stay on that topic, bro. Because women all over the world, bro, it's hard for me to, you know how we talk about, well we block things out as men.
Yep.
You want to know one of the things that I block out, bro?
What's up, bro?
I got 400 cousins, and the majority of them are women, bro. And I can't go online too much and see stuff about women, but I hear women getting taken every single day,
Mm.
bro.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed so far. You feel me?
Mm.
So this is real. People are. I was just telling my cousin. I said, bro, don't you know they? As we talking right now, they disappearing.
Yeah.
They being, unalive. All anything you can think of right now as we speaking, bro. And some of the neighbors know. You remember a few years ago when they was talking about the containers and the people heard what they heard in the containers. How many people went over there to do something about it? Let's talk about it. You feel me? But not talk about it. You feel me?
Yeah.
Bruh.
I didn't hear about that.
Bruh. It's real, bro. But yeah, that's a never ending story. All culture. This is not a racial thing. This is not a class thing. This is a horrible
Well,
male.
while I agree with you, I disagree with you, and
For sure.
this is why I say that, right?
For sure.
Because it's handed down from white men.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can
when
go
you
for
look
that.
at when you look at the way that this structure is powered, and if you look at life before colonialism, right? Um, it was before there was patriarchy. There was a matriarch,
Yeah.
right? And different indigenous groups, African,
Yeah, they work with their women.
races,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they held them.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
feel what I'm
got you. I
saying?
got you. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, um, and being in an oppressed country that's ruled by white men, right? Um, and men seeking, told, well, you're the breadwinner and this and that, and if you're not the breadwinner, then you're soft and this and third, right?
Mm-hmm.
And trying to seek the bread and stuff like that, and supposed to be in control and want to be, in control. It leads to that violence. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so we need to figure out a way through that, man. You know what I'm saying? And I wrote this poem. If you guys don't mind me doing this poem, it's called Mr. Magdalene.
Go
And,
for it.
and I wrote this poem because of the whole story about Mary Magdalene.
Mm.
I don't know if I did a good job or not, but it was me trying to challenge myself and how society has me thinking about men and women, right? And in certain ways, right? So, Mr. Magdalene, an orphan that cried little, saw things most didn't, thought things most couldn't. Trauma will force you to live outside the box in limbo, perhaps. Clenching on to affection, a little attention I let her have, she never stayed. I was never sure anyways the night she molested me in the dark basement, the night he covered my mouth, the day he put his penis in my mouth, I was 6. The night I was high and slept with my foster mother was the beginning of the end. They stole my they stole most of my soul, was left as handicapped. I hop along, grasping at what's good to fill the void that fills the bottom that feels bottomless. All these moments and still lonely that point at me, the sneer, and they laugh and they call me a hoe. I will change it all. I would do it overnight, but Jesus never walked my way. I would have touched the hem of his garment. We're in a predicament now. I wonder if Mary would reach out now, possibly. Church folks with church, church folks with their masks on, her and I would have been friends. Jesus would have saved me, as I would as him, as I would ask him about blackness and this emptiness that comes with it. Gravitating to that which feels good, sex never solved these problems. I'm finding it's overrated, love overstated, but I try. These days and moments of desperateness, yes, it's me, oh Lord. It's me, oh Lord. Mr. Magdalene.
Mm,
That was deep,
that
bro.
was deep. Look, we both said that. That was deep. That
Real,
was good.
real.
Yeah.
And like to be able to write these issues down and address them so they don't become a ticking time bomb, if you will.
Exactly.
Um, Man, I'm looking for this poem that I wrote years ago. Um, it was a poem I wrote about domestic violence. And all right, if I can't find it, you guys mind if I do improv?
Do your thing, man. I'm trying to find a song right now. I got
Hmm.
one for you. Do your thing.
I'm
All
listening.
right. Marie, I want to ask you, as a woman, being on this live, listening to brothers talk about this issue, what does it make you think about? How do you feel about that?
Um, Now, if I would have just popped in and I didn't know you, I would have been thinking like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, they trying to get clout or this and that, you know? But since I know you guys, um, it's heartfelt. It means a lot as a woman because as a woman, I know we've been, through a lot. We had to fight for a lot, and it just, yeah, it just, man, I've seen it, I've seen a lot of people women being abused and hurt and unalived and, just so much trauma to where it feels good to have men like you, stand up for us women in today's society, especially, this time and age. Feels good.
Thank you.
I wouldn't be here if you wasn't a good man. Come
I
on
would say,
now.
I would say this. I can't call it standing up for women
Right,
because I don't believe that I could stand up for any woman, but
right,
I can stand with you.
right. Stand right beside me.
The
You know what I
part.
mean? Because like, um, I don't think any woman needs me to fight for them.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that there's anything that a woman can't do
mm,
or she can't find another
right.
other women to help get
But
it
just
done.
having the knowledge you
You
have,
know what I'm saying?
that's, that's a lot.
But as a human being, you know what I'm saying? As a brother, as a son, you know what I'm saying? And even some of the things that I've said or done, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like, why would I do something that fucked up? You know what I'm saying? Um, it's about like, you know, we deserve a better society to live in. And if I can't look at myself, if I can't encourage, you know what I'm saying, another man to look at himself, then what am I really doing? You know?
For real.
So, um, let me see. Uh, wow, this is gonna be hard. All right. Let me do it like this. So normally, and I'll take some words from those that are in the chat too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some words from y'all, and I'm gonna get some words from y'all, and I'm gonna take those words and I'm gonna create a poem. And so what is it? What's today's date? The 8th. And so I'm gonna get 7 words. So y'all, what's up, Sarah? We're getting 7 words, and the topic is gonna be around femicide. So y'all give me 7 words. 7 words. Maria bounce. Poise, you got a word? Sapphire, you got a word? Chess, you got a word? Sapphire Storm, you got a word? Wonder what happened to Marie. See if I can get some of these folks to come up and give me a word.
And the temperature just dropped. I'm in the garage. That shit just dropped like 10 degrees. Woo.
Yo.
Yeah, I gotta go in. That shit like an ice box.
So I got one word, anger. Anger. I'm gonna give people a couple minutes. All to the CR. What's up? You got a word? All right. So, all right, you ready? I couldn't tell what it was at first. Was it a wig? Somebody left a mannequin in the parking lot. What's that juice rolling alongside? That's not juice at all. It's blood. Wait, what is that? What happened? Like, things started coming into focus. Seeing the crowd, seeing the anguish on the faces. In the background, hearing squealing tires. Voices screaming, "You can't leave! You can't leave!" I noticed the casing on the ground. Sirens getting closer. Something happened. I didn't get a glimpse of his face, but I can tell there was anger. It was beyond anger, rage. Now this is on another page in my life. That wasn't juice at all. It was blood rolling down from the bottom of her foot, up her leg, up to her head, casing on the ground. How did all of this start? I mean, I wonder if we looked into his past, where did it begin? I wonder if he was told that it was okay to cry. I wonder if he was so told that it's okay to admit the anguish and that women are not here to be controlled, not here to be trolled. We're here to connect with each other, to build futures, to learn from the past. Where could we have prevented this from happening? The anger. What if I was a stranger and met him 3 days ago, sitting on a park bench? They're silent, and I walked up and I just casually sat down and, what's up, bro? How's your day going? And listened to him as he spilled all his anguish out into the ears of a stranger. Will she still be here? But we've been taught to be individuals. We've been taught to mind our own business. And when this happens, we wonder who did this and why nobody intervened. We can't have one thing and have another that opposes it. Either we're minding our business or we're not. I'd rather you mind my business. Even when I'm annoyed, I'd rather you mind my business and get in my headspace so that the lies that I've been told could be erased, be replaced with the truth. That I'm not God. That being a man doesn't mean that I control this existence. But it does mean that I control this, that I control these feelings, these emotions. That anger is meant to be observed and respected. That anger is meant to tell me a story. Anger is meant to tell me that I'm not comfortable. And what am I to do with that? Dial this number. Hear the ring at the end. Hey, poise. I need to tell you something so I can stop this noise. Somebody's playing chess with us in this society and we're just pawns if we're that at all. Maybe we're just the table that the game is being played on, but we need to figure a way to get in the game. We need to figure out a way to be able to control the pieces. But it starts with me controlling me. It starts with me understanding me. It starts with me asking, can you listen to me? If we could go back, way, way back, to where the first seed was planted into his being, and we uprooted that seed and planted with another one that would grow branches of compassion, empathy, will she still be alive? Will she still be alive? Yo, that's the poem, bro.
Ezam.
What'd you say?
I said Dezam. We going hard tonight, bro.
Oh, man. But listen, bro, I gotta bring this to an end.
Yes, sir.
But you got on the social media network, right?
Yep. I've been trying to load a video today. I got a little short video I found.
Videos can only be 30 seconds.
I know. I found a short one that's pretty dope. Last night I was like, oh, I gotta post this. Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for having this conversation with me today, brother.
Yeah, man, I made it just in time, bro. I just came on and was going through. I seen y'all on. I just came through right at the right time, bro. That was beautiful. That was perfect. But yeah, that's like I said, that's a conversation that always needs to be happening because yeah, yeah, women, bruh, we go through it, man, but they got a whole nother level how they go through it. Like
Right.
it's you, whew, yeah, for real. But yeah, thank you, bro. I gotta thank you for being who you are, having this show and coming with these topics, bro, and being open. It ain't that shit ain't easy. I know. Trust me, that shit is not easy for
Right.
real. Yep, and holding the space for us, bro. That's very important. That's real important, bro. For
Absolutely.
real. Yes, sir. Salute. Big salute.
Right.
Yes,
I,
sir.
I want to thank you, man. Thank Miss K. I want to thank Marie
You.
for sharing their experience. Y'all stay in touch, connect, poeticrecovery.us, join the social media network, download the radio station app, Poetic Recovery Radio. If you think you want a radio show, you can represent your hood, work together to create a healthier place to live. Come join the social media network, poeticrecovery.us, join the group. You got two menus, the one top upside down triangle, which is going to help you change your account, and you're going to have the one top left, the hamburg menu, which is going to allow you to navigate the whole site. You're going to go to groups and find Poetic Recovery Radio group and be like, hey, I want to be a DJ. Because one night a DJ saved my life, and maybe you can save another. Take it easy, my sisters and my brothers. Peace.